Greenlight, you make good castings, not gonna lie, but it's always your quality control that turn people off so much that their sales have kind of gone down a little bit. But for IndyCar, however, they tend to sell very well because they basically have a monopoly on making IndyCar diecast. Yes, anything related to IndyCar and anything related to the Indianapolis 500. And that's exactly what we have here. This is a rare case of Greenlight making a Vista cruiser related to the Indy 500. And this, for example, is used by the medical director for the event. And this is one of the rare cases where it made not just the pace car, but also a medical director car for any edition of the 500. So yeah, this is a Hurst Old Vista Cruiser driven by the medical director for the 1917 edition of the 500. Initially, there was no manufacturer signed in to supply cars for the 500. So to fill in the gap, Hurst, for the first time since 1969, provided a car to use for the 500. Of course, they supplied with two HO Cutlasses and two HO Vistas. One for the medical director, which Greenlight has made, and one for the press and photographers, kind of as a way to scrub out the bad reputation Eldon Palmer famously influenced to crash in the grandstands full press and photographers in the previous year's 500. So yeah, enough rambling, because we gotta get to the review. This is a pretty good casting from Greenlight. Unfortunately, they do falter with the poor quality control. As you can see, my front bumper is falling off and some paint blemishes here and there. But before we get to that, let's take a look at the packaging. So here's your generic Greenlight blister, but it has its own unique art for each edition. For the 500. So I got this from Green Hills at Shopsville for 500 pesos. At one of Collecting Base's branches in Shopsville, they do have a branch at Shopsville Plus, which they do have an extra of this Vista, which I might pick up when I come back. So, anyways, you got the Greenlight logo, hobby exclusive, which you can also get these outside of the Speedway. Oops. You can also get these outside of the Speedway as well, the 56 500. You got the photo of the HO Cutlass leading the 33 car field, head of the 1970 500, and the free race festives. Of course, you got the logo of the Speedway, the flags. You got your name tag. There's the barcode for this card that I bought specifically where I bought it from. Oops, I sorry, dropped that. Entering 2. Great. On the back, you got the same background, but you got the photo of Mark Donohue after qualifying. He won the 1970 race. Any McLaren Offenhauser. What's an Offenhauser? Yeah, it's an Offenhauser owned by Roger Penske with Sunoco sponsorship, and you get a little hologram from the Speedway. You can find that this is indeed an IMS related licensed product, some legalese, and you got licensing related to IndyCar and the Speedway itself. Pretty cool. Now, let's get to the car. Fun fact was the exact Vista Cruiser owned by Todd Herron, who, by no coincidence, is related to Ray Herron, the 1911 winner. So Todd is actually a cousin of Ray, who is his grandson, who in turn is his grandfather. So he had this car since 1993 when he bought it at an antique store. He had a guy who ran the store get original documentation for him for his store, which I won't go into too much detail. You can go into a lot of detail in the description below. It's actually a pretty good article from Hemingses.com from around 2004. So you gotta check this out once it's done with this review. So Todd spent over several years to get the exact details of the pace of the medical director's car right. Because a lot of the car was basically stripped down to its essentials. As you can see, you had to buy new striping for this car on the bottom. You had to buy a new bonnet as well, and buy new fenders, a lot of parts actually, even down to the interior as well, because the original interior basically deteriorated over time, and this is the only surviving example of an HO Vista that was from the 1917 500. These still would be in drivable condition. Of course, being destroyed by Herron, which is no surprise to anyone. So yeah, we'll get into more detail once we get into the review. Let's start right now. So you get the front bumper, lots of chrome still in the car. Of course, you got headlights and fog lights are painted. You got the automobile badge. You get additional badging. It's in a weird position. I can't see it. I think it says. Oh, it is. Oh, that's something going, but it's basically a blob. That's the Oldsmobile typeface from around this period. So the car that Todd had a plate with the HO logo. Unfortunately, GL has never actually put the plate on. So you got two dots on the chrome front bumper, which are not painted, just like the grille. But the grille does have a texture. Yeah, you can feel the texture on this guy with the right finger. So quickly moving on to the fiberglass bonnet. You can see this is actually made from fiberglass with two W25 dual intakes commissioned specifically for the Vista and the Cutlass. The Cutlass has a larger V8. Fun fact: this car does have a 7.5 liter rocket V8. When it came to Hurst from Lansing, Michigan to Pennsylvania, they had the cheapest V8 option available, which is down to 5.3 liters. So to help cool the 7.5 liter V8, which is neat sweet for the 1970s, they had to actually make two W25 dual intakes to help cool it down, and some bump cuts too, and kind of hold it down. Also, of course, the dual intakes have a 3M retro-reflective stripes, which do reflect when it's driven at night. So it has this super bright gold whenever light bounces into it at night. Oh yeah, I just realized it says 442 on both sides of the dual intakes. In silver, and first you get two bonnet pins, or hood pins, or too many an American viewer. My hood, unfortunately, is chipped, kinda. So it looks like it's chipped. Silver windscreen wipers, premium interior, which are actually like that in the real car. At least from both pure photographs and what Todd actually came up with, restored it since 1993. So as you get both sides of the left side of the car, not both sides, the left side. So this is how they do the gold stripe. So it starts on both sides of the car. Starts right above this door handle and swoops all the way down to this rear fender, and kind of like the shape of the car, which is actually pretty genius. And then all the way up to the skirt, and then up to this rear fender, and then continues all the way up to the hatch, which we'll get to once we're done with the left side. As we get to the left front fender, you got a reflector, medical director in blue text, the Speedway logo, the HO logo, right above the stripe. On the doors, we got official pace card, 56th annual Indianapolis 500-mile race, May 27th, 1972, was in fact the day of the race itself. Silver door handles, like I said before, with painted door locks. Above the wheel well, it says 500 Festival, which is kind of like an annual pre-race festival ahead of the 500. You got the HO logo once again, but this time a lot clearer. First, you can see the Hurst text and the Oaks text on the respective logos. And these Goodyear Pulse Steel tires, I think they've used G60s for this, or H70s. They look identical, but the H70s are basically like a grippier versions of the 8 Pulse Steels. Fun fact, when Todd came to replacing tires, he had to use a set of H70s instead of the G60s that actually came with the current period, because Goodyear unfortunately stopped producing G60s, or you couldn't find a set of G60 Pulse Steels, so you had to go with the H70s, and you got these nice gold and silver trim rims. You see silver on the dish and gold on the rim, kind of like the stripe on the side. And the bonnet seen in the outer part itself. As we get to the back of the Vista, we got painted tail lights with silver trimming. A rear bumper with the actual plate, HO logo on the plate, HO logo on the stripe. You got the Oldsmobile, the classic Oldsmobile rocket logo right up below the door lock. You got the 3M stripes all the way up to here, up the trunk. Same side as the WEF. We're gonna look at this real quick. In person, it's basically more like genuine cream white, but on the camera you can see it's actually not like cream white, but a lot brighter white, brighter than it actually looks like in person. So, anyways, we got some silver trimming below this roof rack, which is own piece. All you get a real spoiler here is sunroof, a two-way window piece on the rear. Just you got like half windows on both driver and passenger side of the car. I'm gonna look at the roof and kind of see the interior. Of course, premium interior with a little black trim still. Mine has quite a bit of chips and blemishes here and there, but otherwise this is a pretty good casting from Greenlight. As we get to the base, so you got your basic metal base with the production number of the car, product code, and product number. Greenlight 2019 made in China. You can see more treads on the Goodyear Post Steel tires. This is actually a cool little detail from Greenlight. So that's the review of the HO Vista. I think it's a pretty good casting from Greenlight. Unfortunately, mine came with somewhat poor quality control, but it makes up for having good attention to detail to what the actual medical director's car looked like. So huge credit to Greenlight for making this correct. But anyways, that is the review of the HO Vista.